Okay? So you had the Puerto Ricans ruling, and you had so-called African Americans ruling. Okay? But it was split. Okay? Now, it says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the king of Israel that were before him. Okay? Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hosea became his servant and gave him present. So we just read that in Google. Okay? So Google knows about this history. Okay? Google knows. Okay? It says, and the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no presents to the king of Assyria, and he had done yearly by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. So here it is. It says, and then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. So Shalmaneser the fifth besieged Samaria. Okay, that's the Assyrian. Okay, and then it says, verse 6. It says, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Syria. Okay? Like it. Into Syria. Right? Assyria. But Syria. And placed them in Halah and in Habor by the rivers of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. So you had, when you go into certain parts of history, you had about 30,000 of them in the land of the Medes, man. In the land of the Medes, that's who you know today are the Japhetic people, the Hawaiian Samoans, the Tonganese, the indigenous people of Fiji Islands, the indigenous people of Australia, okay? And also you got the Philippines, because the Filipinos, they are Japhet too, okay? For y'all who didn't know, okay? But also you got Issachar mingled among, okay, the Filipinos. So that's why when you see a so-called Filipino and you see a so-called Mexican, they might look alike, okay? Because you got so-called Mexicans mingled amongst them because they was carried over there doing slavery, okay? When you search the history out, okay? But the Filipinos are Japhetic people, okay? So the Medes are Japhetic, a son of Japhet, okay? Now, going over here, let me go back to 2 Kings. See, this is the thing about Jake. Jake want to see you cussing out Esau. See, Jake want to see you cussing out Esau, getting into it with Esau, telling him he going into slavery. This right here, what we going into, is basically boring to Jake. See, this is Jake. Jake don't want to deal with nothing like this because this is history, and this is finding out what happened to us as a people. Jake don't want to hear that. All they want to hear is you cussing out Esau and about to almost go into blows with him. Okay? That's what Jake want to see. They like, man, that's a good video. But yeah, they want entertainment. But this history, you need to know. Okay? Yeah. You need to understand. Because if you don't know it, you lost. You don't know. You continue to ask, hey man, what happened to Israel? Why they in the condition that they in? Well, here are the videos up there showing you, but all you want to do is look at videos that's cussing out Esau and telling me going into slavery. Crazy. Then you come up on the comment board and can't figure out the history, what's going on. Okay? So you have to learn this, man. It might seem boring to you, but through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, one or two Jakes watch it, they're going to get edified and say, hey, man, I need to see that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. I need to see that. Okay? What was I at? 2 Kings 17 chapter. But like I said, I'm going to jump around. I ain't going to read all of it. But I'm going to jump around. And when they got kicked out, and it says,
the kingdom of heaven is within.
I know it, and you ain't got it. You ain't got it. You ain't got it, man. Get on down the street. You ain't got it.
The devil.
Yeah. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. This 2 Kings 17 chapter. Yeah. Yeah. And then if I was questioning about the scriptures, he'll just start coming up with his own vain opinion. Like all them fake Christians. That's what they do, man. You start hitting them with the scriptures, that's what they start doing. They just start speaking. They ain't coming up with no more scriptures, no more. They just gonna start talking and hoping somebody's listening so they can play on that person that's listening emotions. Because that's easy to do, play on their emotions. That's what they do in them churches. Like a female. But when you learn and you got understanding, nah, man, you want to come out to these scriptures. Nah, let's see what the scriptures say. I don't want to hear what you got to say because that's what they say. Well, what do you think? Well, what do you? No, I'm finna read it now. But what do you think? They don't want you to come out of the scripture. That's them fake Christians, man. Okay. See, that's how they do it. They quote scriptures, right? Just to lure you in to make you think that they know a little something. But then when you start diving in and start challenging them, they start backpedaling, and then they start coming up with their own vain opinion. Oh boy. You know, that's what they do, man. This second Kings,
So you have been down in there. Hey,
yeah,
how y'all doing?
that's what they want, man. That's what they want, for you to just come out your own mouth, man. They don't want you to read the scripture. They want you to do just like this right here. Put the Bible up under your arm and talk to it like this. When you start reading it, hey man, their feet already going down the street. They just gotta catch up with it. Catch up with their feet, man. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see? Just like the brother was saying, that was a perfect example of when I was speaking on it, how the Most High brought that idiot by her. So whoever watching, they would have just clicked on just this part of me getting into it with Esau for entertainment. Okay, they wouldn't have looked at the rest of the video. They would just look at that part of me getting into it with Esau, proving Esau condemning him. It's easy, man, to do that with Esau. That's an easy thing. But to go into this history and break it down and for you to teach it so somebody else can understand, hey man, that's not no easy thing, man. That's not no easy thing, man. Okay? You have to study, man. You have to study and get into these scriptures to understand the history, which Jake don't want to do, man. Jake is impatient, man, and Jake want a microwave lesson. Quick, fast, in a hurry, man. That's Jake, man. Get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. That's Jake, man.
Oh, hurry up.
That's Jake. Get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. You know, what you waiting on? Get to the point. That's Jake, man. They don't want no build up to it or nothing. Get to the point. Then when you tell them the truth, they can't handle it like the brother said. You know, this is 2 Kings 17 and 18. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. What was that? Talking about the land of Israel. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. So that was the southern kingdom. Okay? Because when you go into the history, like I was explaining, it was split. It was the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. Okay? And also, verse 19, also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statute of Israel, which they made, and the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel. So eventually, all the seed of Israel was kicked out of Jerusalem, man. It was a wrap, man. They was kicked out. And they was taken into captivity by these Assyrians, man. Okay? It says, and afflicted them and delivered them into the hands of spoilers. Who were the spoilers? The Assyrians. Until he had cast them out of his sight. What was his sight? In the land of Israel. Right? They was kicked out of their land. Verse 21. For he had rid Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did, they departed not from them. Okay? And it says, verse 23, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. So they were gone. Okay? So they was taken out of that land. Boom. So we going over here, right? To the Apocrypha. Right? He going over here to the Apocrypha. Right? So they was taken out of that land. Boom. And it started when? 722 BC. And who finally laid them flat? Sargon II. Okay? But it was started by Salmanazar V. Okay? Who besieged him. Okay? So Israel gone to captivity, right? And this is second Ezra. Okay? But Judah's still there. Judah's still in the land. And then also when you read the rest of Kings, 2 Kings, and then when you go into 18, they tell you about how they, which they mentioned in 2 Kings 17 chapter, how he removed some of the tribes over to the land of the beast, but it also goes into it in the 18th chapter, in 2 Kings 18th chapter, about how Israel moved into the other land. But in the 17th chapter, it tells you how the king had put heathens in their land to where they was taught to keep the custom of Israel. That's where you get them Colossian Jews at. Okay? That's where you get them at, because they was teaching their children over generation over generation over generation when they ain't Israelites, but they was taught the custom. Now, don't get me wrong, you got Israelites scattered among all the nations. Okay? When you read Isaiah 11 and 11. So they scattered everywhere. But going over here to second Ezra, the 13th chapter, right? And I started the 40th verse. And it says, I started the 40th verse. Those are the 10 tribes which was carried away prisoner out of their land, out of their own land in the time of Hosea, which is Hosea, okay? The king whom Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, right? And so came they into another land.